Hey everybody, welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of New Mexico. So we've got another property today, this one in the Tierra Verde Ranchette subdivision. This is a subdivision that I resisted buying land in for a long time. Finally, I bought some property recently. I listed it. It sold within 3 hours. You guys were then blowing up my phone and the email and the YouTube comment section about it for the rest of the day. So it seems like Tierra Verde is a popular subdivision. It seems like it appeals to you guys. Most likely for the reasons that I mentioned in the last video I did, which is no regs, no rules, no HOA, and no dues. So anything that you want to do out here that you can't do in other parts of New Mexico, whether that's build a tiny home or just sort of indiscriminately camp for long periods of time, either by yourself or in an RV or something like that, those are things that you're going to be able to do out here. So obviously it has a wide appeal, particularly to those of you who want a certain degree of privacy and independence that you can't find in other vacant land deals. So with all that said, let's get to the introduction. This is reference number CBNM-0001D, like David. As noted, this is located in Cibola County in the northwest part of the state. There's 5.3 acres in the Tierra Verde subdivision, specifically Unit 5. That's an important distinction. I'll get back to that later in the video. And as you saw up top, these 5.3 acres are priced affordably at $5,900. And I say affordably because my nearest competition on this has a 5-acre lot in this subdivision for $7,900, so $2,000 more. I won't say who that is, but if you do a little Googling, you'll probably figure it out. Before I get started, bring this up on a map, I just want to point out to you guys, this property is not going to be the easiest one to find. It's not the most intuitive, and Google Maps is not the most helpful. So down here, after this listing page goes live, we're going to have a video here talking about specific driving directions out to the land. We're also going to have this photo gallery down here, heavily annotated photo gallery, telling you the exact route you want to take out to the property, which way to turn, which way not to turn, etc., etc. So please, if you're considering buying this and you want to go scout in advance, please do, but watch the video first. It's going to give you a lot more insight than if you call our offices whenever and try to ask me if you should turn left or right at a pile of rocks next to a tree. The video and the photo gallery will be much more helpful than we ever can be on the phone. All right, guys, with all that said, let's bring this up on a map, show you where this is. As with all of our listing pages, come here, click any one of the GPS coordinates, and up on Google Maps, it shall appear. Let's pull back first, talk about where this is in Planet New Mexico, and then we'll get into specifics. Let's go to map view because I can't see anything the other way. All right. So Albuquerque is over here in the north central part of the state. This property is located roughly, let's right click and measure distance, about 90 miles roughly. 90 miles west of the property over here in Cibola County. Cibola County is one of these places that has more wildlife than people. That being said, there's a lot to like about this county, a lot of great sights to see and great nature to explore out here. First off, I should point out the Tierra Verde subdivision sits here straddling, it's about 4,500 acres. It straddles this green area. This green area, of course, is the Cibola National Forest, a couple 100,000 acres of some great hunting opportunities, specifically for, I think, elk, mule deer, wild turkey, bear. That's what you will find most within these, forested areas. But it should also be noted that aside from all the hunting opportunities you have out here, if you're not a hunter, there's also a lot of great access to state and national parks and monuments. Over here, you've got the El Morro Monument along with 53. Also, the ice caves are out here. It should also be noted that Tierra Verde is sandwiched really between the El Malpais National Monument Conservation Area, as well as Chain of Craters Wilderness Study Area. It's not indicated here on Google Maps, but Chaco Canyon is also very close by. And so you've got a lot of great, hiking, camping, trails, things like that you can explore out there. Additionally, you've got bodies of water out here like, the Rama Reservoir over here, as well as Blue Water Lake State Park. Blue Water is very easy to reach from this area. You just take the confusingly labeled 57 to the 50 to the 612. I don't know what road it is, but you get the point. You drive north. And eventually you'll come to Blue Water Lake State Park. A lot of great opportunities out there for fishing, boating, so on and so forth. Additionally, it should also be noted that this property sits in pretty close proximity to the towns of Rama and to Grants. Rama, small little town, good for grocery runs. They've got a dollar store out there. They've got a grocery store out there. They've got a high school, some schools out there, things like that. Grants, however, is going to be, it's not only the county seat, but if we zoom in on the map here, you can see this is the more densely populated part of Cibola County. So they've got you know, if you're going to be building out there on that property, you're going to have access to the Walmart Supercenter out here. There's a Home Depot out here, as well as the local, you know, airport. But basically, shopping, dining, quote unquote, nightlife, schools, medical supplies, things like that, you will be able to get out here in Grants. And both these towns, by the way, when driving from this property, are roughly about a 35 minute drive, something like that. So, not too bad. You just hop on the 53, go west, go east. You will hit one of those towns, etc. So with all that said, let's just zoom in and talk about this. As noted, Tierra Verde subdivision, roughly about 4,500 acres up here, straddling the Cibola National Forest. If I zoom in on the map, you're really not going to see that much. There's not a lot that's indicated here. You can see some of the roads out here. Some of them you can't, particularly the access road that gets out to this property. All of the lots in this subdivision have legal access, but some of them are just easier to read on Google Maps than others. This would be the access road, but you can kind of barely make it out. Here's another one over here. You know, here's the third one. This one's much easier to see. Additionally, when I go to map view, what you won't see is the plat overlay. So let me direct you guys back to the listing page. And down here, first off, we have the Google Earth overlay. This gives you a sense of the size, shape, location of the property. This is, you know, a 5-acre rectangle that you've got right here. Additionally, we've got the plat of the entire subdivision with the lot highlighted up here. We also have a zoomed in version of this, so you can see specifically this is lot 74 within Unit 5. As noted, all of these roads have legal access, so you're not going to have to traverse someone else's land to get to yours. So even though the roads are not incredibly visible on Google Maps, and some are a little better to traverse, some are a little easier to find out there, every property does have that legal access. One more thing I just want to point out here on Google Maps. In regards to power, there is power that goes through this subdivision, but it's not ubiquitous. It's not everywhere. Nearest power that we can find is here on this homestead over here. Now, my photographer did confirm that this is not deserted. This is not abandoned. There's somebody living out here. So while I do not zoom in here on Google and see any sort of power line, I see this thing that may be a power line. Presumably there is power going to the structure, and that is roughly about 3/5 of a mile from this property. So if we right click and measure distance, you'll see 3,300 feet, roughly 3/5 of a mile, etc. What does that mean for you? Well, if you're going to come out here and build and you want to get power extended out to the property, it's probably going to be extended from here. This looks to be the nearest spot. That might be expensive, so you may want to consider solar as a affordable and logistically, you know, less headache-inducing alternative, etc. I will get back to that in just a little bit, but I did at least want to point out where the nearest power pole utility hookup would be, which is out here. All right, so with all that said, let's go back down to the photo gallery. As with all of our properties, we have photos taken from the land itself. One of the things that you'll see immediately when you review this is, number one, there's a lot of flat, buildable land out here. And when I say buildable, what I mean by that is this is not a property that's too rocky. It doesn't have some huge slope or difficult terrain to it. You're not going to have to come out here and spend $20,000 excavating, grading, and ripping up trees and whatnot just to get, you know, an area where you can actually build on. This area is flat, and there's actually not a lot of vegetation on this property. This may turn you guys off. If you look at Google Earth here, it looks like there's, you know, barely any trees on it. That's not the case, but those are the trees that show up on Google satellite view. You'll see here there's a little more vegetation here. Blah, blah, blah. But the point is, this should be easier to build on, or even just to park on if you're going to park an RV or a trailer, a mobile home out here. You know, once you get it out here, that should be pretty easy to do, etc. Additionally, as you can see, you've also got some really nice views out here of the surrounding mountains, Cerro Americano, Cerro, something else I'm blanking on it, but the mountains that surround this area, as well as the Cibola National Forest, particularly these views to the north and the east, will reveal that. So just a, you know, a really nice piece of land out here in the Tierra Verde ranchettes. I will let you guys explore the photo gallery on your own time. I will also suggest we have a drone video down here. This one is not property specific, it's subdivision specific. But if you watch this, it'll give you an excellent sense of what just living in Tierra Verde would be like. How exactly, it's a little remote, so I'm going to call it private, how private this area is. With all that said, the big selling point of this property, which I discussed at the outset here, is that you have an area. It's in Cibola County. Cibola County doesn't really have formal zoning designations for these things. It's one of these counties that will defer to the covenants and restrictions that exist within the subdivision. So what we address up here in this paragraph, and I'd encourage you to read this, though I'll reiterate it here, is that Tierra Verde is one of these places. It was created back in the 70s. Developer comes in, they buy up 4,500 acres of land, they chop it all up into 5-acre parcels, and they create covenants and restrictions for the land. Can't do this, can't do that. But one of the nice things they did, which not a lot of developers do, is that they left a clause in the covenants that said these restrictions will sunset after 20 years, and they have to be voted on by the landowners in this area if you want to keep them, if you want to preserve them, or if you want to do away with them. And there's, 6 or 7 units out there in Tierra Verde. Basically, most of the owners out there at the time voted to do away with them. It was only the owners in Unit 1, which was the most developed of all the units, that bothered to keep whatever restrictions they had. So point being, land out here within this Unit 5 area has no covenants, it has no restrictions. Cibola County has no sort of zoning ordinance that supersedes that. There's nobody telling you what you can and cannot do out here. And that's one of the nice things about it. We have a lot of buyers who want that degree of independence. You will certainly get it with this property. Additionally, there's no homeowners association, there's no property owners association, there are no yearly dues. Sometimes that's a problem because yearly dues go to road maintenance, but if you've got a big enough truck, you could probably handle anything. So as we say up here, no HOA, no regulations, no zoning, and no time limit to build, etc. And so no yearly dues. So aside from the annual taxes of roughly $80, which you can pay $40 in May, $40 in October, not an expensive property. So with all that said, I just want to point you guys to some helpful links down here. If you want to buy this land, if you're thinking about, you want to do some research first, due diligence is always the buyer's responsibility. There's certain questions we can answer. We like to be conversant in them, but other things, are way too specific for our, level of expertise, quote unquote. So we always recommend it's best to do some research on your own. Now, I've got some links down here. First one is to the Tierra Verde Ranchettes Facebook page. If you bring this up, you can talk with or you can communicate, I should say, with actual people who own land in this area. You can ask them, get a realistic sense. What's it like living out here? What do I need to know if I'm going to build? What do I need to know if I'm going to drive out here? Whatever. Some people out here can answer your questions. I should note, this thing doesn't get updated a lot. It looks like it was updated in 2012. But we did reach out to a number of these people, and we did get responses about some questions that we had. So that can be very helpful. Now, at the time that I'm recording this video, we have 2 links here, the Tierra Verde Ranchettes page and Tierra Verde FAQ. This is also a website that doesn't get updated much, but it will have a lot of information that can, help you with your research. At the moment, the website is not responding. So hopefully by the time you're watching this video, this website will be responding. You can use these resources. That being said, there's a lot of redundancy with what's on the Facebook page. So if you just go on the Facebook page, you'll most likely get the answers to your questions. Additionally, as noted, Continental Divide Electric Cooperative is the company that services this region. Click on that link. It'll take you to their website. So if you do want to have that conversation about, hey, I'm buying a property in Tierra Verde, power is about 3/5 of a mile away. What do I have to do to get it extended? What does that cost me? What do I need to know? Reach out to these people, have that conversation, find out about that. Additionally, we also have the link for the New Mexico State Engineer. Click on this, it'll take you to their website. Anybody who's going to get permitted a well in the state and drill a well, whether that's residential or commercial, you need to speak to this office, and they can better inform you about that process. Now, one of the questions our buyers will always ask us is like water table depth. Can I actually drill for a well out there? Here's what I would tell you. If you go on this website, you'll see well logs from the area. And by the area, I mean the county. And they will tell you how deep wells are within the region. But they don't say, hey, specifically on, Unit 5, Lot 74, it's going to be this deep. So I can't give you an exact sense of that, nor do I like to speculate on such things. So what I always recommend, if you want to get a sense of what drilling a well costs, call local well drillers. Talk to them. Say, Tierra Verde, what's the cost per foot of drilling and how far down typically do we have to drill to get a well? What should I anticipate? If that is the way you want to go with it. A lot of our buyers want to do rainwater catchment, or in New Mexico, more commonly, holding tanks of water. So if that is something that you want to do, look into it, reach out to these offices. They can better help you with your research. With all that said, guys, I will let you explore the listing page on your own. As noted, driving directions down at the bottom of the page are going to be very important, very helpful. One last thing I want to mention, this property was closed on and is title insured through Quest Title Company, so we will be providing a warranty deed with this land, FYI. If this is a property that you are interested in purchasing, come up here, click the Buy Now button. It's going to take you to this secure checkout page. Here we're going to ask legal name for deed, name or names. tax address, where Cibola County going to send the annual tax bill. Agree to the terms of service, click next, and on the next page we will ask you for either credit or debit card information. Once you give us the money, as far as we are concerned, you are the new owners of the land. We are the current owners of the land, so once you give us the money, it is yours to do with as you please. Go out there, begin camping, hiking, building, whatever you want to do, and we will get you the recorded deed within a few weeks' time. It has to work its way through the bureaucracy of Cibola County. Quick thing to note, guys, the property, roughly $6,000 here. If you don't have a credit card that can accommodate $6,000 and you do want to buy this property, just reach out to our offices, 702-919-7170, or shoot us an email, support@hemingwayland.com. Let us know the situation. Hey, I've got a credit card I can charge 2 on and one I can charge 4 on, but I can't do 6. Can you help me out with this? Yes, we will. If you have a credit card that has a limit, $2,000 a day, we'll send you a checkout form for $2,000. You could use it 3 times. You could pay it that way. This is not a financing option. We're not offering financing on this property. We're looking for a cash buyer. But we do understand if there are logistical limitations that cause you to have to pay us slowly over 3 or 4 or 7 days or whatever. So just an FYI, that option is always there. Oh, by the way, guys, one link I forgot to point out. New Mexico Game and Fish Department. Click this link. It's going to take you to their website. This, as noted, Cibola County Forest. You want to find out what it's going to take to get a license to go hunting out there if you don't already have one. I believe it is in Game Unit 10, I think. I may be wrong on that. But that, too, will be a good website for research purposes. All right, now I'm done. So with all that said, thanks for watching, everybody. Again, this is the kind of property I know a lot of you people like. The kind where you can do whatever you want. Nobody tell you what you can and cannot do. A lot of privacy, etc. So I anticipate that this one will be as popular as the last one we listed. I hope it is. And as always, if you have any questions, leave a comment here on the YouTube or shoot us an email or give us a call. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.